Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael. I'm with the Congresswoman's staff. I appreciate everybody getting on. I'm going to wait just a couple more minutes because I see people filtering in. So we will just get started in a couple of minutes. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining this morning. Again, my name is Michael. I work for the Congresswoman in her Utica office. Thank you, everyone, for being part of the webinar. I am going to hand it off in just a minute to Carolyn Singh from the IRS Office of Legislative Affairs. She's going to be presenting to everyone on some IRS FAQ. If there are any questions from the audience, please feel free to use the Q&A function to send in a question, or you can utilize the chat. Both of those can be found at the bottom of the Zoom call. And feel free to ask any questions. We'll get to the questions towards the end after the presentation. Carolyn, I will hand it off to you now whenever you are ready.
Okay, thank you, Michael. I will go ahead and start sharing my screen. Okay, all right, perfect. So good morning, everyone, and thank you to Congresswoman Tenney for the opportunity to share IRS information about the tax filing season with everyone. As Michael said, my name is Carolyn Singh. I'm a congressional liaison with the IRS Office of Legislative Affairs. And today I'm providing you with some resources that encourages taxpayers to take special care this year due to several critical tax law changes that took place last year and ongoing challenges related to the pandemic. To help make tax filing season easier, we have a number of tips and resources available. These include encouraging taxpayers to file electronically with direct deposit to avoid delays, and things like using a number of our online tools to ensure that eligible taxpayers receive the credits that they're entitled to. And this also includes things like coronavirus related tax relief. So some of the tax law changes for 2021 made more people eligible for certain tax credits and relief. And two of the items I'll hone in on today include reconciling advanced child tax credits, as well as claiming the 2021 recovery rebate credit. All right, I'll go to the next slide. So on the next slide, you'll see several important dates that taxpayers should keep in mind for this year's filing season. You'll see some of the dates have already passed, but I've included them in the presentation for your awareness and as a reminder for anyone who might not know. The key dates On January 24th, the IRS began the 2022 tax filing season. So individuals can now file their 2021 tax returns because those are being accepted and processed. April 18th is the due date to file 2021 tax returns or request an extension to pay taxes owed due to the Emancipation holiday in Washington, D.C. And the April 18th date is that for the rest of the country, with some exceptions for folks in Maine and Massachusetts due to the Patriots' Day holiday. And then October 17th is the due date to file for those who have requested an extension on their 2021 tax returns. So April 18th is the due date or the date to request an extension, and October 17th is the date by which the taxes would have to be paid for anyone that requested an extension. All right. So on the next slide, another important part of the process involves gathering and organizing tax records. This helps avoid errors that lead to processing delays. So we are really encouraging individuals to have all of their tax information available before filing to ensure the return is complete and accurate. For example, they should notify the IRS if their address changes and notify the Social Security Administration as well of a legal name change. Taxpayers should also keep in mind that most income is taxable. So having things like W-2s, 1099s, and other income documents and records of things like virtual currency transactions are essential. These income documents can help individuals determine if they're eligible for certain deductions or credits as well. And additionally, taxpayers should also keep end of year documents, including letters to reconcile things like child tax credit payments received last year, as well as economic impact payments that were issued last year. So on the next slide, one of the important things we wanted to stress to taxpayers is that to help provide important filing information, an online IRS account can securely provide tax account information. So it's something that we're encouraging taxpayers to create if they don't already have one. Now, taxpayers can use their online account to securely access the latest information available about federal taxes and see information about most recently filed returns. Other examples include things like seeing the amount of economic impact payments that were received, as well as the advanced child tax credits that were issued last year. They can also view key data from most recent tax returns and additional records such as transcripts. I know that some of those have been helpful for those that are requesting SBA loans. And I think just sort of having an account and being able to check in online to see the status of what's being transmitted and so forth, that's been tremendously helpful. With the online account, taxpayers can also view payment plan details if there is one, as well as things like 5 years of payment history and any pending or scheduled payments with the IRS. So on the next slide, another important tip that we're alerting taxpayers to is to updating records. It's important to update records such as things like address and name changes that I mentioned earlier. For those who are filing a return this year, the IRS will automatically update tax records with the address on the tax return when you file. Otherwise, Form 8822 can be completed to notify the IRS of an address change. And then again, a legal name change would also require notifying the Social Security Administration. So on the next slide, the other important tip that we wanted to share with taxpayers is to sign up for direct deposit. The fastest way to get your tax refund is filing electronically and choosing direct deposit. Direct deposit gives you access to your refund faster than a paper check, and it also avoids the possibility that a refund check could be lost or stolen or returned to the IRS as undeliverable. For anyone that does not have a bank account, we have online resources to help with obtaining one. And if you're a veteran, please see the Veterans Benefits Banking Program for access to financial services at participating banks. So then another important part of tax filing is to ensure that enough tax is withheld. So individuals may want to consider adjusting their withholding in certain circumstances because changing withholding can help avoid a tax bill or let individuals keep more money each payday. And life changes, such as getting married or divorced, welcoming a child, or taking a second job, those may also be reasons to change withholding. So, taxpayers might think about completing a new Form W 4 each year when a personal or financial situation changes. And then, if anyone has a payment to make to the IRS, that option, there are also online options available at irs.gov/payments. The next item to keep in mind is ensuring that I-10 information is updated. An individual taxpayer identification number is a tax processing number the IRS uses. It's used to people who cannot get a social security number. So, and it's available to non-resident and resident aliens and would need to be renewed in certain circumstances. For example, if your I-10 was not included on a US federal tax return at least once for the last 3 years, your I-10 would have expired on December 31st, 2021. So that's also something important to keep in mind that would need to be renewed. It's also recommended that taxpayers review eligibility for credits and deductions. Certain tax law changes for the 2021 tax year made more people eligible for certain tax credits. The online, we have an IRS interactive tax assistant that can help determine what you qualify for. And some examples include the Earned Income Tax Credit, the Child Independent Care Credit, the credit for other dependents, certain education credit, and the Recovery Rebate Credit for anyone who may need to claim more of the economic impact payments that were issued last year. So, what's new and what to consider? First is reconciling the advanced child tax credit payments that were issued last year. If you received an advance payment, when you file your 2021 tax return, you'll need to compare the advanced child tax credit payments that you received during 2021 with the amount of the child tax credit that you can properly claim on your 2021 return. So, an example of that would be if someone did not receive all of the payments that they expected, they can claim that as well as the remainder of the credit that they are entitled to claim this year. If you receive less than the amount that you're eligible for, you'll claim the credit for the remaining amount. If you receive more than the amount that you're eligible for, you may also need to repay some or all of that excess payment when you file. So the IRS began sending letters for the advanced child tax credit payments. It's letter 6419, which provides the total amount of advanced child tax credit payments. You'll need to keep this with your tax records and refer to them when you file. And these amounts are also available online. So if you have an account, you can log in online and view the payments there as well. So the next important thing to consider is claiming the 2021 Recovery Rebate Credit. While some third round economic impact payments may still be in the mail, the IRS is no longer issuing first, second, or third round economic impact payments. So people who did not receive the full amount of the third round payment may be eligible for the Recovery Rebate Credit based on their 2021 tax situation. Now, this includes parents with a child born in 2021 and filers who met income thresholds in 2021 but not in 2020, which is the year the income was based on for issuing the economic impact payments. If you receive the full amount of your third economic impact payment, you won't need any information about this to include in your 2021 return. And if you're eligible for the Recovery Rebate Credit, you'll need to file a 2021 tax return, even if you don't usually file. You'll need the amount of the third payment and any plus up payments you received to calculate your 2021 Recovery Rebate Credit using the worksheet the 2021 Recovery Rebate Credit Worksheet, or tax preparation software. And in early 2022, the IRS began sending letter 6475 to provide the total amount of the tax payments received. So, as with the advanced child tax credit letters, this is an important part of tax records that are needed for filing your return. And we have a number of helpful online tools and resources on irs.gov, including some FAQs that answers commonly asked questions to assist with reconciling these payments on your tax returns. So the next important piece of information we wanted to remind taxpayers of is how to avoid delays and to explain refund timing. So many different factors can affect the timing of your refund after we received your return. Although the IRS issues most refunds in less than 21 days, the IRS cautions taxpayers not to rely on receiving a refund by a certain date, especially when making major purchases or planning to pay bills. Some returns may require additional review and may take longer. For example, the IRS, along with its partners in the tax industry, continue to strengthen security reviews to help protect against identity theft and refund fraud. Additionally, refund for people claiming the Earned Income Tax Credit or Additional Child Tax Credit cannot be issued before mid-February. The law requires the IRS to hold the entire refund, even the portion not associated with the EITC or the ACTC. Also, some returns filed electronically or on paper may need manual review, thereby delaying the processing of your refund. Sometimes this is due to system errors that are detected, if information is missing, or if there's suspected identity theft or fraud. Some of these situations require us to correspond with taxpayers, but some do not. And this work does require special handling by an IRS employee. So in these instances, it may take the IRS more than the normal 21 days to issue any related refund. In those cases where the IRS is able to correct the return without corresponding with the taxpayer, the IRS will send an explanation to the taxpayer by letter. Another important piece of information we wanted to remind taxpayers of is the treatment of unemployment compensation. Individuals who received unemployment compensation should note that this is taxable and must be reported on their 2021 tax returns. Okay. And then to help, we have free tax preparation that may be available to eligible taxpayers. There are a number of benefits associated with using some of the free, either online or in-person tax return preparation help. It helps sometimes improve the accuracy of the returns that are filed. Sometimes it enables getting your refund faster just because of the online ability to process it, as well as the chance of making a mistake is also decreased. Right. So another type of free tax help that's available is that available through our VITA and TCE programs. The VITA is the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, and that provides free basic income tax return prep with electronic filing to taxpayers who generally earn less than $58,000, persons with disabilities, and taxpayers with limited English proficiency who need assistance with preparing their own returns. The Tax Counseling for the Elderly program offers free tax help to individuals who are age 60 or older. And for those who are joint filers, only one spouse needs to satisfy the 60-year age requirement. More information is available on irs.gov/VITA, VITA, or by calling the 800 number listed on the slide. So tax prep help is also available through the Free File program. The IRS Free File program is a public-private partnership between the IRS and many tax preparation and filing software industry leaders. They provide brand name products for free. It provides two ways for taxpayers to prepare and file their federal income tax return. First, through the traditional IRS free file, as well as free file fillable forms. There are income thresholds for being able to use these programs, and in some instances, state filing assistance may be available. So on the next slide, I wanted to flag that we do offer help with filing returns in several languages. We have resources that are available in more than 300 languages, and we're currently translating our tax resources into more languages and currently have basic tax information in 20 languages. For anyone who wishes to receive communications from the IRS in a certain language, they can do so by filing a Schedule LEP to request for change in language preference. Um, okay. So the last slide I wanted to touch on here was just to share some of the additional resources that I mentioned. We are prepared for tax season, and ahead of that, we issued a publication, Get Ready to File. That's a tremendously helpful resource that sort of summarizes some of the tips that I mentioned before. Some of the links here also provide information about the advanced child tax credit, the economic impact payments, as well as IRS operations during COVID-19. We encourage you to make your first step irs.gov because there you'll find information and tools to help what you need in the filing season. The tools are easy to use and are available 24 hours a day. Millions of people use them to help file and pay taxes, find information about their accounts, and get answers to their tax questions. So with that, I will switch over to show you some of those resources. And one moment, just to give you a sense of what they look like. So the first one I want to touch on is sort of our Get Ready filing page, where you can see some of the information I covered is also available online here. You can take There are different steps that you can take to get a jump start on your taxes. Here's the one I mentioned about creating an account. Um, this link will take you to the setup page where you can follow the instructions and get that set up if you don't have one. Some of the other things I mentioned are here as well. In the what's new and what to consider section, some of the information about reconciling the advanced child tax credit, claiming the recovery rebate credit. We have a lot of helpful information here. So I would recommend that if you have any question, please make this sort of like your first stop for getting more information. One of the other Our main page that I wanted to show you, when you go to irs.gov initially, if you scroll to the very bottom, you can sort of see some of our free file information that's right on the main web page. So just by going to irs.gov, you're able to find a lot of what we have prepared to help taxpayers with the tax filing season. And then if you scroll down, you can see here some of the information about the recovery rebate credit, child tax credit, IRS operations, as well as our Get Ready page. And I will click on the IRS operations page while that loads. Okay, so one of the important pages I really wanted to point out to you is our IRS operations during COVID page. Due to the pandemic, our operations have been impacted, and we have experienced and continue to experience delays in a number of our services. So things like phone line support, processing returns that were filed on paper, answering mail from taxpayers, and reviewing tax returns, even for those filed electronically. There have been certain delays. If you're ever curious, for example, if you filed a tax return or an amended return and you're interested in knowing what the status of the return is, you can come to this page and we regularly update this information. The most recent update was a few days ago on January 28th. And then if you click here, you can see where we are in the filing process. I'm not going to read through all of it, but it sort of gives a status update on where we are with our inventory, how many returns we have processed and how many are still being processed, and just some more information about the wait times to sort of give a realistic sense of where we are with returns. And of course, you can always, in the what you should do section here, you can always log on to your account online to see the status. So for example, if you filed an amended return from last year and it's pending, we also have tips there on how to include um, an adjusted gross income amount for 2020 with your 2021 returns and so forth. And then if you scroll down, we have more information about the status of processing amended returns, things like unemployment compensation exclusion corrections. And we have some other information further down about identity theft. That's important to keep in mind if you suspect you're a victim of identity theft, what to do. And then there's some other services and different helplines that you can contact. We have telephone lines, and I think we encourage folks to call earlier in the day because the phone lines, can be clogged up later in the day and hold times can be increased. So this is a tremendously important page to sort of keep track of. It sort of helps you navigate some of the process that we're experiencing with delays and sort of really directs you on where to get help. The last additional resource I wanted to share with you, I know a lot of my presentation really focused on individual taxpayers, but I wanted to share with you some webinars that we're hosting for small businesses. In February and March, we have a series called Hearing All Voices. It's a workshop for small businesses and really listening sessions to sort of get feedback from taxpayers on problems that they're encountering, as well as things that they'd like to see addressed by the IRS. They are organized by different regions here, and it looks as though the one for New York is set for February 17th. So if this is a topic that interests you at all, please go to the website and sign up for it. And then one more webinar I wanted to share with you is that IRS and the SBA are hosting a series, a Black History Month series that focuses on federal taxes in your business. This sort of goes over topics like obtaining an employer identification number, record keeping, accounting methods, and different things to sort of help small businesses prepare tax returns and so forth. So with that, the last thing I will mention is that we also have some other videos and outreach products. Again, if you are not sure what you're looking for, if you simply go to irs.gov and type in a search term, we have FAQs that'll pop up, and in some instances, we even have pre-recorded videos that sort of help you navigate the process and so forth. So with that, I will conclude my remarks and I will turn it back over to Michael.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. I appreciate it. Just for everybody on this call, we are recording this and we will be posting this along with these slides onto Representative Tenney's official website where she has all of the other agency webinars. So this will be available for everybody who might have come on later or might not have seen some of the links. So we will have that up for everybody. Carolyn, I do have a few questions here, which I will try to get through with the time that we have.
Okay.
And just a couple of them are in regards to reaching, getting a hold of the IRS. Is there any information on Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find the question now. Um, is there any part of the IRS in the Utica IRS office that will be staffed again so that constituents from the region can get a hold of an IRS person directly in the Utica region?
Mhm. I'm sorry, is the question about the taxpayer assistance
Yes,
center?
yes. It wasn't. Yes, there's
Okay.
the IRS Utica office, and
Uh,
it's been vacant for. I'm not quite sure, based off of the question, for how long it's
mhm.
been vacant. But has there been any movement on opening that office back up again?
Um, some of the offices have been closed to staffing issues or um, different things. Maybe staff is out with COVID and things like that. We expect the offices to become available, but I will get the list of offices and the exact availability when they'll become available. But if anyone has a question, they can also fill out a privacy release and send it through the Congresswoman's office to us. If I'm not the appropriate office to get the answer to you, I will make sure that you get the questions answered online. So your congressional office has been a tremendous resource. So any questions you have, you can also just direct it to your congressional offices and then they can forward it on to us and we will try to get you the answers.
Thank you. And actually, just to jump on with that, if there are any specific questions or if you're having an issue with your IRS returns or anything along those lines, please feel free to reach out to the Congresswoman's office. I'm going to put both of the numbers and her website that you can fill out a digital privacy release form, or you can talk to one of us on the staff down in Binghamton or DC or our Utica office. I'll put that in the chat so that everybody can see that. Carolyn, I have a next question was when you create an online account, do you have to submit a photo to access it?
It depends. There are different options that are available. There's a phone verification option as well. So the answer is no, but I would refer to the online information about registering for the account. And what I can also do is I'll make sure I send that link to you, so you can share it with folks after the webinar.
Okay, thank you. So I have another question that's getting into a little bit more specific casework wise. That again, feel free to reach out to our office if you have any questions on any current or any cases that we are doing currently for you. But I wasn't sure, Carolyn, if you can speak to the scenario that happens when a payment check is cashed by the IRS, but a IRS return hasn't been found by the IRS. If you could, if there's anything that you could speak to in that scenario that happens.
Hmm. Yeah. So the Treasury Department actually required the Bureau of Fiscal Service actually requires the IRS to cash checks, and I think the question relates to an actual check that's mailed, to a check, for checks to be cashed within a certain time period. So even though a return may still be in process, the check gets cashed and the amount is credited to the account accordingly. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we have experienced delays with processing returns, but this is sort of also a unique situation. I think a taxpayer's return could be delayed or still in process for a number of reasons. So I think if there is a question, this might be a great one to send over to your congressional office to send to us, just so we can have the account folks here look at the account closely and provide some detailed information about what's going on. I think sometimes when you check your online status, you can see that it's still in process, or maybe the return has not been received, as I think the question is asking. But if you send the questions over to us, we can look at it a bit closer and provide some detailed information as well.
Okay, thank you. Our other question is just on the getting a tax ID number. Would you mind just reiterating the requirements, who is eligible to access and get an account and then receive a tax ID number? I do know businesses can, individuals can. Can you just go over the what the requirements would be for who can receive a tax ID number?
Is this the individual taxpayer identification number
Correct.
or
Yes,
or
the
for a
individual.
business? Okay, that's available for collecting taxes. That's available to individuals who cannot be issued a social security number. And those individuals include non-resident and resident aliens. And it's something that the IRS issues in order to collect taxes. Um, and that's generally what it is issued for. And let me see.
Okay,
And
understood.
I think one of the slides sort of touches on it somewhat. And I'm scrolling through the slides to see. Yep. Yep. That's the information that's available there. And then again, if this is a topic that's of interest, going to irs.gov to learn more about it will elaborate on what I explained.
Okay, thank you. When it comes to the letters stating the economic recovery payments, a constituent was asking, since this constituent is married and they are filing jointly, there was one letter received for the spouse. Should the other spouse be receiving a economic impact recovery payment letter as well?
Um, it should be one letter if they have filed jointly and married, because it would be going to one account. So it should be one letter. But again, if a different amount was received than what the letter is stating, we would recommend that you log in online to confirm the information, as well as include any additional amounts that you feel you're entitled to when you file your return. And for the economic impact payment, that would be done using the recovery rebate worksheet that's available for filers this year.
Okay, thank you. I also have just a couple more questions. There is a question from a constituent. If an estate account has been created for a deceased taxpayer, does a tax return need to be filed even if the estate has no income to report?
Some of that would depend on a number of circumstances that are very specific to the taxpayer. We actually have an online tool that can help determine whether an individual needs to file a return. And I will send that link out as well. But it's a great tool to help you determine the facts and circumstances of your situation. It might not be as straightforward as no income is available and so forth. So we just want to make sure that they get the right information, and I will share the tool to help them take a look at it closer.
Okay, thank you. Um, I have another question and it's somewhat specific. So I'm also just going to reiterate that if you do have any specific questions, please feel free to reach out to the Congresswoman's staff. In a minute, I'm just going to put the number in the chat box for both our Binghamton and Utica office so that you can contact us. If you don't mind, Carolyn, there is a constituent who received a 1099-G form for
Mhm.
unemployment compensation, but this constituent did not file or even get unemployment from the previous year.
Mhm.
There is an adjustment on there. Is this something specific that the IRS can be looked into through a privacy form?
Yes, yes. If they send that information over, we'll take a look at it.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, actually, there's one more question that just came in. Where would I find a table that lists all of the changes in the tax law from 2020?
I will send that link out. We have a specific coronavirus related tax relief section on our webpage, and I will send those out as well. And this is for, and just to clarify, is this for individuals or small businesses or both?
The question doesn't say
Okay,
whether it's for individuals or businesses.
okay. I'll send what we have.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I don't see any other questions in the box here. And so what I am seeing, oh, I did see a clarification. It was for individuals.
Individuals.
Individual. Okay.
I see it too.
Okay.
I see it too.
I don't see any other question. Was there anything that you wanted to clarify or anything else that needed to be added for this, Carolyn? I'll hand it back over to you if there's anything else.
Yeah, I'm sort of scrolling through some of the questions, and I think if someone is still waiting on their refund, please check online. If there is a hardship situation associated with an account, that's something that you should definitely send over to us through Congresswoman Tenney's office. We are able to help. In addition to where I'm located in the IRS, part of our IRS Congressional Affairs program also includes the Taxpayer Advocate Service. Um, they are a tremendous resource for taxpayers as well, and we partner with them often to help resolve taxpayer concerns and case issues. So we're here to help. We understand that everyone is dealing with certain delays with our inventories and whatnot, but we try to be as helpful as possible. And working through your congressional offices is also an important way that we can learn about what questions you're facing, and we want to try to address as many of them as we can. Again, the last thing I would sort of reiterate is using the resources available on irs.gov. We've prepared detailed FAQs on a number of topics to help filers this season. So please feel free to use them. They're available 24 hours a day. And if we can be of any assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Congresswoman's office, and we'll try to get you an answer to the questions that you're dealing with. And that's all I wanted to add, Michael.
Okay, thank you. And again, thank you so much, Carolyn. I appreciate you being able to do this for all of our constituents. I did post in the chat for everybody that you can reach the Congresswoman's staff through her Utica or her Binghamton office. The Utica office is 315-732-0713, and her Binghamton office is 607-242-0200. Or you can also go to tenney.house.gov and you can find services and help with a federal agency to fill out the digital privacy release form to make that just a little bit step quicker for you if you are having any issues. Feel free, and again, this will be posted to the tenney.house.gov site as well under the webinars. But again, thank you everybody for joining. I appreciate it, and everybody have a good rest of the morning. Thank you.